Good day. Well, I thank everyone for the positive feedback. Whoa, I'm overwhelmed, absolutely overwhelmed with the feedback everybody's given me over the video yesterday, and I need to keep sharing. So, what I like to talk about, we talked about spirits, how spirits come to you and share with you, and that it's really good to, they say to be an open vessel, to not be drinking, doing drugs, that you're clear, that you're clean, and always make sure that you say you want good spirits to come to you. Be very, very clear, and always make sure you put protection around yourself. I used to travel a lot. When I after Yelapa and I came home, I lived in a school bus and I went up the mountain, and I always call it the mountain, but the name of the mountain is Mount Bruce, and that's where I hung out a lot. I love the mountain because I could see out the same way I used to in Alberta. I love looking out. So I was praying and praying and praying for my mom and my grandmother. I really miss them, and they taught me that they'd always be there, and I was really, really focusing on that. And I had a girlfriend at the time that used to come around, and she was getting kind of a little weirded out with some of the things that was going on, because, all of a sudden, one night in the bus, a big ball of light just comes into the bus, and there's this spirit there with black, all in black, but no feet, and no real, and just there and gone. And lots of stuff like that was happening because I was really, really opening up. And my grandmother came to me in a blue van with a big gold star on the back of it. Things like that. It was just really, and I was really focusing and praying on, what to do. Who do I ask? There was nobody around. At this time, I didn't know anybody that was into this kind of stuff, and anybody I talked to, they just thought, oh, Bruce over the hill, he's whacked. He's just right out of it. So I was in Vancouver painting my father-in-law's apartment. An apartment. I was painting it, and he always gave me a ride to the ferry. Always. Feed me breakfast and everything. And it was my day. I'd finished, but I got up. Something got me up. 4 o'clock in the morning, and said, I gotta go and catch that bus on Cambie Street to the ferry. And I told the old guy, I gotta catch this bus. And he says, no way. And he did. He always gave me a ride. It was his thing to always give me a ride. So I said, no, I gotta catch this bus, the first bus. And it was something like 5 or 5:30 in the morning. Way I go and catch this Greyhound bus. And then it transferred at Delta, a hotel there, and so I get on this bus, and I see this guy sitting, there wasn't many seats. I walked by this Indian guy, and he had long black hair and just shining. And I thought, whoa. So anyway, I sit down, go on the ferry and that, and you get to the ferry cafe, and there's two lineups, and I traveled the ferries enough to know, a lot of people in that lineup. So I went to the other lineup, and who's the only guy in the lineup is this Indian guy. And right away we hit it off, and some of the things that happened, and he was sharing stuff with me, and it was just so great. Like, my prayers are being answered, somebody to talk to. And then he said, well, I come to Salt Spring once in a while. I have a sister over there that lives up at the north end. And I have a friend that lives up by Cranberry, he said. He didn't know the directions or anything, the addresses. So I think, great. So I go back up the mountain, and I'm praying and praying still. And one day I come back up to the bus with my girlfriend, and there's something sitting on the seat of the bus. Like, it's like a homemade couch. Everything was made out of driftwood in the bus. It was really a cool bus. And so I look at this little bag, and my girlfriend says, well, where'd that? And I says, I have no idea. And I looked in it, and here is some little badges from when I was a kid in Scouts. I'd given my mom a brown paper bag, like a, you know, a grocery bag, full of all my possessions when I left home when I was 15. That was it. And I asked her to take them for me. And when I went back to get them when I was around 18, 19, she didn't have them. And she said, well, I'm sorry, my boy. We moved, and we lost track of that bag, and we don't know. And it was one of the only times I ever remember being a little angry with my mom. I never remember having any kind of discontentment with my mother. So I just found it amazing, and here it is. And then I start thinking, there's no way spirit can move articles. But then I thought of Yelapa, and then I started really praying, because who do I ask? And that's one of the things that started me on my huge journey of traveling everywhere, of talking to old people. Just like my grandmother said, if you aren't going to get an education, the best thing you can do, my boy, is to travel and talk to the old ones. I didn't know what she meant by that, but actually, you know, I'm knowing that more and more. And she also said, you know, you don't have to pay to pray. You can go to a tree and pray, and the wondrous mystery will be there for you. She taught me things like that, and she told me, she says, and my boy, never follow the two-legged one. And I never really understood a lot of these things till later in life, when I had time that I was clear and sat back and reflected on these things. So I'm praying and praying and for guidance, and I think, I'm going to go try to find this guy's sister. Her name's Mabel. But I started by trying to walk over the mountain around Samson's Narrow side, and it was really hard, because the cliff, and you got to go way up higher, and I didn't make it. So I go back, and then my couple of days later, I used to just hang out up in the mountain. That's it. And so a couple of days later, my girlfriend comes up, and she says, I need help. I'm doing it was really hot. It was in the summer. I'm burning, and I need you to help me. I got a burning permit, and it was down on Cushion Lake, and I said, okay, yeah, let's go. I'm not doing anything. Let's go, and I'll give you a hand. So she starts we go there, and she starts the fire, and all of a sudden, I feel this energy. I feel, his name's JC. I feel his energy, that I really feel it, that he's there. And I told, with the fires going, I said, hey, I gotta go. She says, no way, you can't leave me. I says, I gotta go. I gotta go up and try. The guy is on the island. So away I go. she was really mad. But anyway, I just had to go. So I'm going up and down these roads, and like Salt Spring is roads everywhere. I don't know where this, and I just really, really focused on this guy's energy and feeling where to go. And I go up this driveway, and there's a house. I knock on the door, and this guy answers the door. And I says, do you know if there's a guy around here, an Indian guy, his name's JC? And he says, yeah, he's right here. It was just, I just couldn't believe it, like just following what is coming to me and believing in it. So it was just really incredible meeting all these people, and the guy that I met, bless his soul, he just passed away last fall. Alwyn McCaig. He's a great guy. He really, there's some things that he shared with me that he actually, I'm going to tell a story later about one of his, because he told me I could share this, and it's one of the reasons that I'm doing this, because he was younger than me, healthy guy, and bang, gone last fall, gone. So anyway, JC says, oh, we're having a sweat. Do you want to help? I said, sure. So I'm helping him with the sweat and everything, and I wasn't drinking at this time. Like I said, in Yelapa, so I was clean. I had, I had a toke here and there sometimes, but so in the sweat, it was just, whoa. It was really something, like some of the things that went on in there, and then when I went down to see him, he was leaving on the ferry the next day. I went to see him, and then everybody's looking at me down in Fulford. They're looking at me. I'm going, what's everybody looking at? And then when I see him, he just smiling and smiling, kind of chuckling, looking at me. And I'm going, what's going on here? And he says, you don't have a mirror, do you? And I says, no, I never have a mirror. In the bus, I had nothing. I had no propane, nothing. I lived really simply. So I go look in the mirror, and right here, right where the third eye is, I'm kid you not, it was a great big, like, red third eye. It was really something, and I thought, wow, this is just really amazing stuff. It's powerful stuff, this stuff. And away I go back up I love my mountain. Like up there's the Sacred Grove, and for people that know, I I was international news once. Yeah, a few years ago. I don't know, in '96 or something. They wanted to log our land, and I put my feet in I asked my son, I went home one day and my wife says, aren't you going to do anything? And I called my son and one of his buddies, Simon, and I said, get some 2x6s and a bag of cement, and they cemented me to the house. Anyway, it's a whole nother story, but we saved that land. Like, I did a marriage on that land today, and it makes me feel so good. We lost our house and everything, but that land is still there. And one day, I'm going to do a video in the Sacred Grove, and it's really something up there. It's powerful stuff up there on that mountain. So I still praying a lot, and I finally do. I meet the sister, Mabel and Willie, bless their souls. They're both gone now, and Mabel, she was really having migraine headaches and that, and I said, oh, I can help with that. I was feeling pretty good about all that, and because she asked, she says, "Can you help me?" And I said, "Yeah, I can help," because you don't ever say you can help anybody. I've never done that. That's what I'm taught. It's got to come through spirit, otherwise it don't work. For me anyway, it's got to be through spirit. So, but took away her headache, and away I go back up home again. And my girlfriend was there that night, and all I had was candles, and we go to bed, and I blow out the candle, and 10 minutes later, the candle comes back on. She says, "That's it. I am never coming back in here again. That's it. I'm done. I can't handle this anymore." And she did. She got up in the middle of the night and left. And never, never came back again. But, you know, you really got to, you know, in all this, you know, I shared that breath, and I've been thinking, you know, why I'm doing this right away again is that you really need to protect yourself. It's really, really imperative that you protect yourself. And, you know, when you go to bed, put a white ball of light around you. And if you're feeling really something, you know, whatever is, purple is really good. Like when I used to work and travel, I carried a roll of purple material, like that round and about that wide, that I could protect everywhere and everything if I was doing that kind of work, or, you know, any kind of work. And for example too, like if you get on a bus and you sit down beside somebody, you know, automatically, if I'm around people, I breathe that way that I taught yesterday, that I don't take their energy on. That's one of the reasons that you stay healthy. You aren't taking on somebody else's energy. You're breathing from the higher self, the goodness, instead of out of the air around you. And that's the same as when I used to sweat the guys, you know, like people say, how, you know, like sometimes I really had to work on myself to get, because I'd be in a sweat sometimes there'd be sometimes 18 guys in a big sweat lodge, like, and I had to do air, you know, I'd always breathe that way. I'd never breathe from inside the lodge. Or what I always say to people when they do take workshops, my first question is, I always say, well, did they teach you not to take on energy? Like, you know, and so when I'd counsel guys, automatically, soon as they walked in the door, I'd start doing that breath, that things would go through me, that I wouldn't hold it in. So I just really, really, you know, wanted to share that with you, that you got, you know, there's a lot of things that you got to do that is good, that, you know, in all of that, like I was saying yesterday, it's not that simple. You know, like there's a lot to this, and that's why I wanted to do this video again right away today. And also, my birthday's coming up. I'm going to be 65, and I've got the gold card already. So I'm going to go away for a few days, and then once I hit the road, I'm going to Yukon on the 25th of April. I'm not going to be doing these videos anymore. I'm going to be focusing on praying and the Truth Circle. And the first one's going to be in Ross River, May 1st. And I really encourage anybody to come up there. Like, it'd be an experience of a lifetime if you come up there. Anyway, I thank you again. I thank you. With all my heart, I feel so good that I'm doing this. It's the right thing for this old man to do. There is just no doubt about it. I'm feeling better every day. And you know, I'll keep sharing. I'm going to share and share and share. Okay? I love you all. Peace and love. Hi, hi.